not have been pulled over had he been white. Civil rights activists, police experts, and academics in law said that the stop was a prime example of toxic racial culture in the department. Here's one case of police arresting an FBI.
Nah, I don't think so. I don't think so. In today's video, I'm going to react to a video called Times Idiot Cops Arrested FBI. The rest of the title is hidden, so I cannot see it, but I'm very interested to see what's going to happen in this video. So if you enjoyed the video, please say so in the comment section below, so I can find more of these types of videos, do more reactions for you guys. Let's get into it.
In this video, we'll be taking a look at some instances where cops arrested people who later turned out to be FBI. Let's get to it. This might just be one of the best interactions with police I've seen in a long time. A South Sudanese citizen was just sitting and minding his own business when cops approached him and started asking questions.
For what? You think? That's an illusion. You think?
It seems like they're assuming that this man is someone he's not. The man accuses the cops of racial profiling right from the get-go. After a lot of arguing, they put the man in handcuffs. Now this is where things get heated. You can hear the man asking the cops to check his ID.
Matter of fact, look at my ID.
After a while, they finally do check his ID.
Hey, watch how funny this is. Go ahead, look at it. No, don't hate me. Look at it.
Oh,
what does that say?
Fucked up.
What does that say? Oh.
And it hits them like a ton of bricks.
Wait, why wouldn't you check the ID of the person before you even arrest them? Of course, at first you detain them. You ask them questions. What's your name? All those things. Do you have identification? So that you can see that you are the person you say you are. But they had all this conversation and even got to the point of arresting him. And he is the one who suggested the thing of looking at his ID. I thought they would do that. Jesus Christ! I thought they would look at the ID at first and then do the arresting afterwards.
Do you see the shock on their faces? That's all because the guy is an FBI agent. This has to be one of the best messing with the wrong guy encounters ever. Anyway, the man asks for a supervisor, and when he arrives...
Okay, I don't know why I'm surprised. The video literally says, Times cops arrested FBI agents. But it said he was Sudanese. So my initial assumption was that if you're someone from a different country, you cannot be part of the FBI in the US. So it looks like even if you're from another country, you can still become an FBI agent. So I didn't know that. That's why I'm surprised. Sudanese FBI.
The man asks for their cards.
Your card is yours. Yep. And I'm gonna follow the report on you, and you. Because you guys are all stupid.
It's funny how the cops have shut their mouths at this point. And look at the supervisor. He's shaking in his boots. They all know they might not have a job after this encounter. Here you can see a cop talking to a man who says he's an FBI agent. The man even shows the cop his credentials, but the cop still doesn't trust him, so he calls the station and asks to check the plates.
Advanced Wiring Company.
Do you work for a wiring company?
Further.
It's a covert vehicle, sir. Okay.
When it comes back to a wiring company and not a government agency, the man says that it's a covert vehicle. Here we learn that the man actually called this cop, and the cop is wondering how he got his phone number.
The one who called me here, sir. How did you get my phone number?
I can't give that information.
I ain't saying he can't tell me how he got my information.
The cop then lets this guy know that he's been detained at this point, but he doesn't put him in handcuffs just yet. The reason why he's detaining him is that he's not being cooperative. When the guy asks the cop if he wants his registration, the cop refuses and says that he's waiting for his supervisor.
Would you like to see the registration, sir?
I don't really want anything from you at this point. My supervisor's on the way.
Excellent.
The cop then speaks on his radio some more and says that the man's name is Special Agent Hatton out of Jacksonville. The cops add that the man keeps talking on his radio, but nothing comes back. Then he changes his mind and says that he does hear something now.
This time I understand the position of the cops here, because the guy, first thing, it looks like he called them and he's refusing to disclose how he got the information. And the other thing is that he says that he's an FBI agent, and he even showed them the identification that he's an FBI agent. But when they search for his car, it shows that it's from a different company. So I would understand why they are so standoffish about him, not wanting to arrest him, but also wanting to wait for the supervisors, the people who are occupying the high positions, to come and look at the matter here. But let's see.
In any case, they keep checking the man, but when they couldn't confirm anything, they finally put him in cuffs. After spending some time in a police car, the man asks the cop to call an ambulance.
On 911, call. I need a medical attention right now. Unlock me.
When the ambulance finally arrives, the cop explains the whole situation and says that the man complains about shortness of breath and vision loss.
Started complaining of shortness of breath, vision loss.
While paramedics are putting the guy in their vehicle, the cop is making excuses for himself. He says that the guy turned out to be legit, but that he was acting suspicious and that's why he was detained. This video starts...
Yeah, like I said, he showed them the identification, but when they tried to confirm it through their system, it didn't show him at all. So yeah, he's within reason to suspect that something might not be right here. Because you have my information, but you don't want to tell me. And when I look at your car, it comes to a different company that you don't work for. So there's reason to be suspecting this guy here. I don't think that's an idiot thing. It's just one person had to hide the information, and the other person needed the information, but the lack of information led them to arrest the person.
With the arrest of one man. After the cops put him in handcuffs, one of them asks him about his credentials. When the guy says that the FBI issued those for him back when he was working for them, the cop starts reading the man his rights.
So you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used in the court of law. Yeah. You have the right to talk to an attorney who is present with you prior to any question if you wish one. Sure. If you cannot afford one will be provided to you by the courts.
Then he says that he arrested him because of red and blue lights.
So the reason that you're in cuffs, okay, is per NRS. Unless you're a sworn officer.
I know in Nevada you guys do.
Yeah, you're not allowed to have red and blues.
Sure.
He then goes back to this man's credentials and is surprised that he worked for the FBI.
You work for the FBI at one point?
I've contracted with the Department of Justice and the FBI.
The guy reveals that he contracted with the FBI and also the Department of Justice. He then goes on to explain his current job and where he was headed.
Contractor for Southwest Gas.
For Southwest, so that's like
here, yeah.
That's your primary job?
Yeah, it's my part-time job, and I have my own cybersecurity company.
The video cuts out, so we can't really see what happened next, but you can just tell that the cops knew they had the wrong guy.
Okay, the tone of the video seems like this guy is not a huge fan of the cops, because it's also understandable. When you are someone, at first he said you worked with the FBI, saying that, okay, you've worked with the FBI before, but where are you working right now? So we are arresting you because you have red and blue lights, because civilians are not supposed to have those lights. But then later on they get more information, and I think they might have let him go because the video cuts out from there. But it seems like the tone is not, the guy is not a huge fan of the cops here. I think some of these things are reasonable. I understand how they came to the conclusion that they did, but it seems within reason for me.
Now this one's a prime example of cops making excuses for themselves after bullying people, even when those people are federal agents. But let's start from the beginning, shall we? You can first see a cop shouting at a man, asking to see his hands.
Let me see your hands. I need to see some ID. Get on the ground.
The man obeys, but he lets the cop know that he's a federal agent.
I'm a federal agent.
Get on the ground.
I'm a federal agent.
That's where the cop starts getting even more aggressive. And now he's demanding that this man get to the ground. And yeah, he's got a gun pulled out and pointed at the man this whole time. The guy wants to show the cop his credentials, but the cop won't listen.
Again, I've seen videos of cops when they approach someone and they tell them to go down or get your hands up or go down, and the person refuses to cooperate. They get louder, and sometimes they even take out weapons if the person they're dealing with is reported to be armed or maybe has a history of violence here. So I don't know what they have, what the prior information they have from this guy is, if whether he's an armed person or if he's a violent person. But it seems like the guy making the video is not a huge fan of the cops. I don't think he likes the cops at all.
He just wants this guy on the ground. When the backup arrives, the guy has no other choice but to get to the ground.
Face down! You are the one making a mistake! Settle it! Face down! Now!
The cops arrest him, and when he asks them to calm down and give him some air because he's got a medical condition, they ignore him and ask him to move his legs and get into the car. When he doesn't do it, they just tase him and put him in the car forcefully.
Down and breathe.
Let me breathe. I have a medical condition.
We're gonna get air to you. Get your legs in. Get your legs in. We're closing this door. Sir, get your legs in. I need air.
Sir,
Sir, please, call an ambulance. I'm asking for an ambulance. You got a medic coming. Get in the car.
Okay, now they're starting to be unreasonable, because the guy is saying he has a medical condition. Even if he could be lying, you cannot risk that. At least try to make sure that if he has a medical condition, of course he's cuffed, he's not gonna go anywhere. Call the ambulance as he's requesting, and don't try and force him into the car.
I don't need the medic. The taser didn't bother me.
you just said call an ambulance if you don't need a
Yeah,
medic.
now you don't want one. Get in the car.
In the car. Get all
Sir,
the way in.
I can't breathe.
I'll go around.
Wait, sir.
Okay, this video is not about cops arresting federal agents, but we just had to include it as it's a prime example of cops being bullies. Two police officers with the Kansas City Police Department, Cole Modir and Marco Olivas, were following a car for a good mile in Raytown, Missouri. They stopped a car and a man comes out. One of the officers explains that they stopped him after the plates didn't come back to anything.
The plates don't come back to anything, so you said they're traffic stop on you.
He then straight up calls him bro and asks him where he's headed.
Where you at, bro? I can take the route. Okay.
The man is stumped by this and says he's a detective. The cop then tells him to chill out. While returning to their car, they can be heard calling the man names. After this uncomfortable encounter, Robinson, who is black, said that the stop was illegal. He thought he would not.
Why did you feel the need to add the black part, Robertson, who is black? Why did you feel the need to add that part? Bro, okay, I've watched a few cop videos, encounters, and it's not uncommon for them to refer to the person they are talking to as, I don't know, buddy or any of those words. I see nothing wrong with the word bro. Maybe it's unprofessional, or maybe he sees it as an unprofessional thing since they are like colleagues, because it seems like he's a detective. But I don't think it's a big deal. And the part when having to add who is black, you can see he's black, but
not have been pulled over had he been white. Civil rights activists, police experts, and academics in law said that the stop was a prime example of toxic racial culture in the department. Here's one case of police arresting an FBI.
Nah, I don't think so. Okay, assuming that they were lying about the fact that the plates are not coming to anything. But if you're pulling over someone who is a detective and you're doing it based on their race, you're risking losing your job. That's why I don't think it's because of race. And I don't know.
Agent where they weren't in the wrong. This video shows cops from the Grand Rapids, Michigan Police Department running after and subsequently putting cuffs on a man who's clearly intoxicated and doesn't know what he's talking about. You don't see that in the video, but the man actually fired his weapon at the police just outside a gym. While they were putting him in cuffs, one of the officers realized that the man had a badge. When she looked at the badge, she realized a shocking thing, that the man is actually an FBI agent.
He's got a badge.
I will not hurt you, sir.
Federal Bureau of... He's an FBI agent.
Oh, wow. I would have never guessed that just from watching the video. What encounter from today's list has left the biggest impression on you and why? Let us know in those comments and subscribe to our channel for more. Till next time, stay safe, stay smart.
Like I said, I don't think the person who is making the video is a huge fan of the cops, because there are certain parts where I'm like, okay, the first one, the Sudanese man, they had all this conversation, but they didn't verify his identity, and then ended up arresting the guy until he suggested that they look at the ID. I think they were in the wrong over there. But up until the last video, the video about the race part, I don't think it's about race. The last video where the guy was drunk on the floor, the video says times idiot cops arrested FBI agents. That was an FBI agent that was drunk, and he even mentioned that the FBI agent fired a shot at the cops before the recording started, and all those things. So I don't understand which part of this is an idiot. I think the video is everywhere and all those things, but I hope you enjoyed the video. If you enjoyed the video, please say so in the comment section below, so I can find more of these videos and do more reactions for you guys. Until next time, peace.